You're listening to a DM podcast.
What they said.
Coming up on today's show, Naomi shares her thoughts on when is the best time to move in together in Naomi's Wifey Lifey.
In Lou's dating diary, she'll be sharing with us on how to say thanks but no thanks nicely.
We ask the big question, is a work romance really a good thing in question of the week?
In our Star-Crossed Lovers section, we'll look back on how did we go in our star signs compatibility.
And we meet a brand new perfect match couple. All that and more
In today's episode.
Welcome. It's so nice to be here again.
It is. Smack bang in the middle of summer.
It is. It's 40 degrees out there currently.
Thank God for aircon.
Yeah, I know. I was dying, you know what I mean?
So, Lou, today we've got another jam-packed episode.
Oh, you're nicking my lines now, are you, Naomi?
Totally.
Well, look, sit back, relax, and let's do it.
Wifey Lifey.
Yes, so this week we're going to talk about when is a good time to move in together.
Ooh, oh gosh, this is even I reckon this is deep, right? This is the big
so deep.
question now.
Will it actually go over 2 episodes?
Well, the whole season? No, so when do you think is a good... I mean, you got to bring up that topic first, right? Have you brought up that topic yet? Have you
we've talked about it, but the issue that we do have, even though he's in my 12-kilometre radius, is that we've got quite a lot of kids between us.
Oh, yeah, big ass. You a mansion or something.
And 4 dogs between us.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to have to have a McMansion if we do need to. But Mr. Naomi's second daughter, she's in high school.
Oh, okay.
And
so that's you got to think of logistics
yeah,
and
that's right.
Yeah.
And so we don't, and he's got her 50% of the time. So for us, I think that it would be quite hard at this particular stage because if he moves closer to me, well, I move closer to him.
Yeah, it disrupts
our children's
education and that. Yeah,
their schooling and how
and
they
friends and stuff. Yeah,
how they get to and from school. So I think that that's always going to be a factor that we do have to think about.
It's funny because when I moved in with my previous partners, it wasn't because we loved each other, we want to move in with each other. It was basically one of our leases was probably running out, and we just thought, hey, let's do it. What better time to do it than
it's a good financial decision.
Exactly, right.
And I think, it would be a lot easier if that was the case.
Yeah, that happened to me for the last, I'd say, 3 partners. It was always a case of my lease, shall we do it? My lease is running out, shall we do it? Oh, yeah, we might as well. Let's just pull our finances together, yada, yada, yada.
And living in Sydney...
It is expensive.
Oh, it is. And it's something that you definitely have to think about in terms of, moving forward.
Got to stop buying avocados, and you shouldn't be buying avocados anyway.
What?
No, because I don't like avocados. It's nothing but they're expensive as well.
I don't know if I spend that much on avocados, but thanks. Would you like guacamole?
What?
What, you don't like?
No, I don't know. No, there's got avocados in it.
But anyway.
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah.
They put them in brownies,
What?
Yeah, they put avocado
in smoothies.
No, I've seen a recipe. It's like a keto brownie thing, and they put avocado in it instead of normal fat in brownies.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
I've had it in a really nice smoothie. It's so nice.
Anyway, we digress.
Back to Wifey Lifey. If you were going to move in together, you do have to share the love of avocados with me.
Wow, Jesus. But it is really expensive to rent, to buy, and not only that, when you're going to go and view a place, an apartment, there's about 50 million people viewing that same apartment.
Oh, totally. I don't want to move. I love my area.
Where you live is lovely.
It is nice, and I just even the thought of packing everything into boxes and moving scares me.
I've done that recently. Because obviously me and Jay, we split up. We shared a place together, and when I moved out, it was oh God, I've got a drum kit, so I play drums, and I still haven't been able to fit that anywhere. It's a big apartment. Let's not get
your apartment is a decent
size.
But
I went from a 3-bedroom house with a study, to quite a big apartment, but it's an apartment.
Look, I think that if I was to move, I'd have to give all the furniture away and start again.
That's another thing. How do you pull?
I don't understand. Like, I don't, for us, we've got 5 kids between us. So we would need at least a 6-bedroom house plus a study.
Plus a games room, plus a cinema room, plus a gym.
And a gym, because we're working out.
Plus a podcast studio.
Yeah, that's right. So what are we up to? 10-bedroom house?
Yeah, exactly.
I couldn't afford that in Sydney.
Not yet, we can't, because we need sponsors, all right?
Yeah, that's right.
So come on now. Look, we need to get Naomi a house. So,
yes, in the middle of Sydney.
In the middle of Sydney,
That's where we're at as well.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit hard to navigate in that sense. It does make it a lot easier. I do like seeing him a lot.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Oh, that's a good start.
He helps around the house, so I might keep him for a little bit longer.
See, that's awesome.
He's handy with the tools.
And he opens jars and things.
Yeah. He's tall, so he's good with,
light bulbs and things.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And he's handy with electrical, so mows the lawn,
That's okay. That's when we had the house, because me and Jay had 2 houses and stuff, not together, but we lived together, but we moved to 2 different. No, we had 2. We lived in 2 houses back to back. All right, okay. And he always used to mow the lawns as well. But what I found when we moved in together was that he had a ton of furniture, and I had a ton of furniture. And if you don't know this about me, I'm quite eclectic. I'm a bit laissez-faire, and he's Mr. Minimal. Everything is like beautiful brown leather, all that jazz. Right? Whereas I have Banksy prints and things, right? And so it was a case of
we haven't really talked about taste.
See, taste. He goes, Lou, I think we should go with my furniture, and I was like,
take deep breaths.
I was like, fine. I've got we've got dogs, so at the end of the day, I've got my dog, you got your dog, so. Wonder which furniture will get wrecked. It's fine. Yeah.
Just in the last holidays, we moved bedrooms around. So my kids were living upstairs and I was downstairs, and we moved 2 rooms
together. You amalgamated.
The boys went downstairs and I went upstairs with my daughter, and God, there was so much stuff to throw out and clean.
Are you a bit of a hoarder, or do you or are you? I'm very much a
try not to.
Yeah.
But sometimes things just accumulate.
Yeah, and memories and things as well.
And sometimes you just think, oh, maybe I'll wear that dress again when I did when I was in.
I do that. I've got dresses from over 10 something years ago, and I still wear them when I'm fit and buff and stuff. But going back to the taste thing, out of you and Miss Naomi Ko, who has the best taste?
Of course, me. Of course, me.
And Mr. Naomi Ko even say nothing. He's like, you know what? Yeah,
it's probably true.
You know what I mean? So if you guys were ever going to move in together, it would be all you, basically. You'd be Oh, no,
I think it's compromise so long as he agrees with me.
Okay. Well, So if he say he wanted a games room and stuff but then you got sons who they probably love it.
Look, that's right. So I'm not too fussed with those things, so I don't. Some of those things just don't bother me.
Also, I mean, there's the element of financial stuff like bills, etc. Because both of you would be coming in with Netflixes and all that. We had. You don't know how that is much of a nightmare until you actually do it. You're probably just thinking, it's just subscriptions and delete. But sometimes you're locked into stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, your energy or internet, and you got to do a buyout and stuff. And so sometimes some of that stuff could add up.
So all those things, it would be financially so much better if we were living together. But sometimes logistically it's just too hard.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Would you ever live with someone again? I know Mr. Naomi Ko is here, because that's a good question for most people, because especially in our ages, you're kind of thinking, well, we're single, not single, but
we've got our own set of things that look at the moment,
set in our ways and like independence, you like things just so
Yeah, look, I've thought about that.
I may not put more loo roll on the toilet roll holder, and that's fine, right?
I sort of weave in and out. I see that whenever we're together, it's real complementary, in the stuff that we do. We enjoy doing similar things together, and we get along, and that's always nice. It's really hard to imagine because I've had kids living in my home for so long, and eventually I'll be an empty nester, that it will be actually nice to have somebody around. I really haven't, I sway back and forth. I can see the advantages and disadvantages, but most definitely like moving in my 40s will be significantly different than what I did when I got married or engaged and got married, you know?
I mean, with me, I have obviously my son 1 week on, 1 week off. So for a whole week, I am like living the life of Riley. Mm-hmm. I am like living it up. So I get my like, and then I'm at mum again.
And then your mum again,
for following week. Would I live with someone again? I wouldn't say no. Obviously, most probably because my son is only 10. There is that kind of you know. You got to be sure that, you know. Yeah. But even then, it's not like I'm going to meet someone tomorrow and move in with them tomorrow. So, he'll probably be way older than 10 by the time I do meet Mr. Mr. LP, who I would want to move in.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is for kids to get along with your partner before moving in.
You can't just there's some people just do it, right?
Oh,
like, whoa, what's
yeah.
with you?
My kids adore my partner. And they get along with him really well. If anything, sometimes they do a lot more geeky, nerdy talk with him than they do with me, which is really good. And like sometimes when he's not there, they'll say, "Oh, I thought he was coming over. Where is he?"
Oh, that's
so
nice.
That's nice. I think that they will probably think that it's the natural progression.
No, they'll probably go like, "Oh, I thought he moved in like last year already." Like, what do you mean he's moving in?
Yeah. Or they could just say, "Thank God already," so she's off my back. That's where I stand at the moment. I fluctuate, but sometimes we do have to look at the practicalities and the realistic aspect of it.
Yeah.
And at this moment in time, it would be really disruptive for our kids to have to travel that extra distance for their schools.
So I guess there isn't really a right time when to move or even to when to broach up that topic, because some people are like, well, we've been dating for like 3 years and we're still not like, living together, or like we've been dating for... I think it's when the time is right for both of you, when it's mutually benefit for both of you, and when you really do want to share that, properly combined your life.
And it is about sharing the family household chores as well, and that's the thing that would be different this time round than say when I was in my 20s.
Remember what Jay said about the towels?
Yes.
I mean, there's stuff like that, right? It's
totally like until you actually live with a person you don't really know. But we've sort of like had spurts, I guess, of him living in my place, or we've been on holidays together.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have him there. It's also nice sometimes to have that off time as well.
Yeah.
But that is because the complexity is that I've got the kids around as well, and juggling to make sure everybody gets the right attention and their buckets is filled.
Okay. No, great. Well, you've given everyone a bit of food for thought there. If you're giving myself food for thought as well.
Definitely a decision it can't be rushed.
Yeah, no, it definitely can't.
And being through the divorce once before, and for anybody sort of like entering a serious relationship the second time round, it's really important to be really clear about the finances at the beginning of the relationship.
Yeah.
Because those factors are actually considered.
We're not talking about like a prenup or nothing. I mean, if you want to do a prenup, then fine, right? But
but even prenups aren't really upheld in Australia. So it's just being really clear about the finances, the contribution. The contribution, both financial and non-financial, into the relationship, so that you're not carrying, or the other person is not carrying the major amount of household chores and so forth. So lots to think about.
Absolutely. So don't just go rushing in and just moving in and like,
I'd strongly advise against that.
Lou's dating diary.
So this week, because it looks like I've got a lot of experience in this topic, I'll be looking into how we can say thanks, but no thanks, when the person that you went on that first date with, or even after, consecutive dates, like 2 or 3 dates, and you finally realise that person isn't for you. Like, what do you do? So for me, yes, there was a once upon a time ago, I used to do a Casper and ghost people.
Yeah.
And then I started doing this podcast, and I thought I can't do that now because, hey, I don't want to be on the Daily Mail. So we're going to
We'll be in the news for the wrong reasons.
Exactly, right? So we're going to talk about nice ways to say thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I will say is just say the truth. But don't be blunt about it. I wouldn't go so far and say you're so not my type. You're like you got no hair. Oh, actually, there was another time when I turned up and the guy had a goatee. I don't do goatees.
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
There's only like maybe one person.
How about the bit
George
that's
Michael's the only one who could got
How about the little bit of just that?
What the hell's that?
That little chin fluff.
No, because it looks like they've forgotten to shave. It's true.
It's like the whole face is clear. It's just this little bum fluff under the lips.
It's like you're not 11. You know what I mean? Like anyhow, right?
Yeah,
so if you go out on a date and you meet someone with some bum fluff and they're not for you, all right, I wouldn't just go and say,
I don't like your bum fluff.
Yeah, your bum fluff. I would just say, you seem like a lovely guy. I wouldn't even go into that whole bum fluff stuff. I would just say, I wouldn't put any emphasis on that bum fluff. I would just say, look, lovely personality, etc. I just don't feel that connection, that initial attraction. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, and I've said that to people like Benny Hill. Like Benny Hill was a big one. And I did say, look, I'm sorry, but I didn't feel the initial attraction. I think you got to be honest, right? You can't just go in there and cut them up like, you know what I mean? Because they might actually really, really like you. I mean, it could be like quite devastating for them.
Yeah, I think...
Be kind, people. Be kind.
How about...
Listen, lies.
How about if it's been a couple of months?
Oh, this is a good question.
This is always going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier after the first date or the second date because then you can go...
Because you're not invested yet.
Yeah, that's right. You're not part of my groove.
Yeah.
And all that stuff.
Yeah.
But how about if you've been going out for...
2 months, 3 months?
No, maybe 3 months. Remember I said after the 3 months,
yeah.
the red flags, start coming out. What happens then? Or 6 months?
I think if that's the case, I know we're saying that it's at that 3 month period, but before that you would know that things are going wrong. So you feel it?
Like there's little indicators.
Yeah, there's little indicators. So I think you would be thinking about.
What is my exit plan?
Yes, how am I going to do this? I think you just got to procrastinate and you're overthinking it, right? I think by the 2 month period, and that's not that person for you, I think you are already thinking about how can I get out of this, right? Yeah. Again, it could be once after that, you probably know each other a bit more now, so it could be a habit that they may have. That could be, or you probably see how they...
Like they snort when they laugh.
Yeah, well, I actually don't mind snorting, you know what I mean? It's
Oh, there's certain things that they say there's certain things that they say that could really irk you.
What do you mean?
So I went out with someone and he used to say, so for example, if he saw something, he'd say, I seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you mean you seen it?
See, and that's irritating.
It's you sort of like start off and you can pick it up from the beginning and you go, oh, and you know what? I'll let it slide.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it really
irks you.
Yeah. And then, of course, it manifests and then there's other things as well.
How did you break up with him then? Did you say, look, the way you just can't speak English properly?
No, I didn't say that. There were other factors as well. I just ended up saying that I don't think that we would work out because we do have very different ways in how we deal with stuff. Normal stuff, like everyday stuff, like what most 99% of the population. Oh, no. Maybe there were certain things that was presented that I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
It was the one about the acknowledgement to country.
Yeah, I think that's just...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so you just go, oh, okay, maybe it's just one thing that he said at one time.
See, in that case, it would be, obviously we've been dating for long enough. I just feel that our values and, don't align. Because I think that's
Yeah, and then of course they'll say, oh, but, we get along, and they want specific examples. And sometimes that's a little bit hard to actually... Because then you just don't want to rattle off a list.
I mean, what gets me is, and I struggle with this because part of me I do want to call people out. It's like when you go on the first date and they lied about their height, their whatever. And I still don't do this. I still don't go, oi, sorry, but no thank you because...
You lied about your age.
Yeah, or you're too short or whatever. I mean... Would you say that to someone on a first, not technically to their face on the first date, but would you text them that as an excuse? Or not an excuse, as a reason?
I don't think so because I don't think it's my role to be the dating police or to be the person that actually tells them that.
Yeah, see, that's how I feel,
Because I think, yes.
It's not their fault that they're,
Like, I think...
no, actually, it's their fault. They lied. right?
Yeah. It is their fault. And I don't think it's my place to actually tell another adult, hey, I don't want to go out on a date with you because I was deceived by you because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Because I think that just leaves a lot of negativity.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just putting that bad juju and karma out there, right?
And then the thing is, they would want to come back at you for something as well.
Oh my God, you get people like
and
that.
Where does it end, you know?
Yeah.
So I would actually just go, you know what, that person's not for me. And you just be kind about it.
See, there's you've just kind of touched on something which I've seen around a lot. You know, when you turn someone down and they ask you out or whatever and you turn them down and then they come back and just neg you out. And they're like, well, I didn't really like you anyway. You're a bitch. And you're like, whoa, hang on a minute. You're the one who came after me, mate. You know what I mean?
That's right. So I think that I don't want to actually engage into that negativity in the first place.
If they do that, then all you do is just move on and block. Don't even engage. Don't even send them a thing going,
you're not going to change them.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, you know what they're saying. It's just them projecting, right? Because you turn them down, so they just go off on one, right?
Yeah.
Because how dare you turn them down? Well, it's your prerogative, right? And that's one thing you should remember when when you do say thanks but no thanks, is it's down to you. You're that person. That's you. And
it has to be something that you would be happy to receive if you were on the receiving end.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing is that if you might have put on a couple of kilos since your photo on your profile, that somebody is actually kind enough to not address that, if that makes sense.
Even that was me. I didn't do that. I didn't do that with a few people.
It is a physical aspect that you probably go, oh, hang on a minute, they lied about their photo. But that is on them. But I don't think it's our
to shame.
To sort of shame them or to actually say something that they can't physically control.
Yeah. I mean, I think you could... look, what I usually do is I don't say anything on the date. I don't go... Unless right at the end, I've had this, when they try and swoop in for a kiss and you're just like, whoa, matey, whoa, where do you get these signals from? I mean, I'm like, really sorry, but thank you. But I really genuinely don't feel the same way. And but I would love to thank you for a kind evening, for a lovely evening, and I'll just scarper out of there really, really quickly. Right?
Have you ever been on those dates where you feel as though you were pressured to say yes for a second date?
Yeah, I have been. I have been, and I've done that. I've had people, and I'm like, oh gosh, I said yeah, and then I would either ghost, and again, this is a few years ago. I would like pretend, forget about it. Let's put the head in the sand.
Yeah, hands on your ears, going la 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 la.
And this happened recently on some of the dates that I've been on. I have agreed to go on dates, and then I've said, I think a flying Dutchman, not really Dutchman, Danishman was that. So I agreed and stuff to go on a date. And then it was only after reflection that I thought, no, actually, I don't really feel. And I did, text him, said thanks, but no thanks, no, not like that. But I said, I thought you're a lovely guy, etc. But on reflection, having thought about it, a few days later, I just feel that we're not compatible, but I wish you all the best. Really enjoyed our time, etc. But just for me right now, it's
not what I'm
looking for.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I think you've got to be as honest and as truthful as quickly as possible.
Yes,
and don't prolong it. But if somebody, even say at the end of the night, 'cause you said it, and you don't want to meet someone, I would definitely say, look, I had a lovely evening, but I just don't think this is for me. I've had this recently with people. Like, we had lovely drinks, dinner, etc. But I saw them as a friend. Like, I didn't feel any attraction,
romantic spark.
I didn't fancy the pants of them or anything.
Yep.
And I have said, yeah, sure. Here's my number. I agreed to meet and stuff. And I'm like, okay. Damn. See, sometimes I do put myself in this position because I'm like so nice.
Sometimes you don't know as well,
unless they lie or whatever. Then I'm like, no.
Sometimes it's really hard to know at the first date if you cross them off the list straight away.
But this is it exactly,
right? And you don't want to sort of like cut off your nose to spite your face.
Yeah, and I've been trying to do that now. Like I don't want to just automatically strike people off a list just because the first initial connection wasn't like all sunshine, rainbows, boom, boom, boom.
Fireworks.
Because as I said, previously with my exes, I didn't feel that spark at the very beginning. And I had long-term relationships with all of them. I had a son with one of them, you know? So even I know that. It's just that I think, and we said this, I think, in some of the first few episodes of season 1, it just feels like we don't have much time because we're older now. Yeah. That we're in a rush, or we're like, we kind of know what it is that we want. So we're more quicker to say no. Yeah, thanks, but no. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Like, whereas when we were younger, we were a bit more like, oh, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you go with the flow.
You go with the flow. But now I think because we do have a bit more non-negotiables as we get older, because there's other factors in your life as well, that we are a bit more quicker to go, no, you're not for me.
You're quicker to qualify people.
Exactly, you know. And it's just about how you sort of navigate through that as well. You know, and that's why, this topic came up. So I was thinking about this. I was like, I tend to be doing a lot of these, like, you know, thanks but no thanks messages and telling people stuff. And I'm sure that the herd, there's a few people like that as well. I'm interested to hear it from a male's point of view. Like, say the girl is more into the guy. So, you know, how do men let women down?
Do
they ghost? Is it statistically more guys that would ghost someone, or just, you know, or would they actually turn around and say, thanks, but no thanks?
Yeah, it would be actually interesting to explore. I don't think I've had many SMSs from men who've actually said thanks but no thanks.
It's just ghost, right?
But they do ghost.
They just ghost. It's just because, like, you never hear them again.
And then you never hear from them again. And then maybe probably about 6 months later, they boomerang back.
Yeah, there's that.
And then you go, hang on a minute.
Or they breadcrumb, or there's the breadcrumbing thing where they like just give you a little bit, and then you're like, well, and then you're like kind of like, well, what do I do? So I think, but we're just generalising, guys. Our male herd listeners, and obviously our women listeners, please give us your thoughts. Yep. You know, how would you say thanks?
But no thanks.
Question of the week.
Would you date someone at work? So, office romance, yay or nay, Lou?
Look.
Oh, that's a nervous laugh.
I would say yes. Look, I've dated people at work before.
Oh, have you?
And it turned out okay, actually. I guess I've been really lucky. Mm-hmm. The people that I had a bit of a thing with at work, even though some of it happened when I was in my 20s and later. It's you know, we still are okay. So you know, I know that most offices. I haven't done that recently. In case anyone's like listening in on this, going, "Oh, really, Lou?" No.
Yes.
It's been years, right? But I know a few people who have had office romances, and you know, they're still with them. They're still with their partners and things. You know, like for example, I know a few people at my workplace, who met at work and are married and have kids and things.
No way.
Yeah. Seriously.
Did they have to report? Like, do you have to let HR know? Like, how does it work?
Well, look, most places, I don't really want to allude too much on my workplace, but most workplaces, as long as it doesn't impact work, and you're all adults and it's not drama filled or whatever, it can work as long as you got their boundaries. Again, it's all about boundaries, right?
Yeah.
So I do think it can work. But then again, there's a flip side of that, where if it does end pretty darn badly, how do you navigate through that? Because you're at work.
Yeah, you're going to run into that person.
Yeah, you're there.
All of a sudden, you're working from home every day.
Yeah, it's like you do spend most of your time at work, right?
Yeah, that's right. I guess the most of your adult life is now at work.
It's like 8 to 9 hours a day, right?
Easy.
So, you know, and then again, it's no surprise that many people do find their potential partners at work because you're spending all that time there. So that's all you get to see.
If I had my life again, I would probably choose a different career, because I started off my career as a pharmacist.
Yeah. So there weren't any like hunky, sexy pharmacists.
Well, no, they were always coming in to buying condoms, well, for them, customers. So they were customers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or they're buying pills for their girlfirls or pads for
or
their
they're
girlfriends.
asking you for like, I've got an itch, I got, and you're like, nah, I guess you're not for me. It's like,
I did have someone.
oh boy, here we go.
Right. Actually, when I was working as a young pharmacist and I was working at her pharmacy.
There's a person listening to this going, oh my God, that was me.
That was me. So this guy came in and it was quite a funny one. He came in and he said to me, I've just come back from Bali and I need some worming tablets. Right? And so I thought, okay, here. I used to get mistaken for a lot of the times because they thought I was the shop assistant. And
Yeah.
so anyway, this guy, and so I came out and I sort of like gave him some advice on these worming tablets. And I said to
Did you
him,
say, it's not for me though, it's not me? Like, it was
and I ended up giving him some advice and I said to him, these are some worming tablets. It's a one-off dose. You take it once and it should work. And the secret is if you do drink it with some alcohol, the worms get really drunk and they just slide out.
oh,
So anyway,
What?
And he looked at me and I had my serious face on, right? And he goes,
they
really?
slide out. So that's all I got from them. Like, what now?
The worms get so drunk, they actually slide out. And he goes, really? I go, no, not really.
If you could see the look on my face
Can
now.
we have
like,
a photo of Lou's face?
That's just like,
So he buys these worming tablets. He goes away.
did you come back and like let fill
He
you
gave
in?
me a call back and he goes, I don't think you remember me. But
you were like, I did.
But I bought the worming tablets and I was just wondering if you're available for a date.
Are you kidding me? Are you serious? You actually came back and asked for a date?
No, he called up. He called up and asked for a date.
And you
I
said,
gave-
drum roll, please.
No, I'm sorry. I can't cross that professional boundary.
Oh, wow. You were too kind. I'll be like, mate, you had worms, man.
I'm not going to go out with someone with an itchy ass.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, how do you get that itchy ass, right?
So as a pharmacist, you wonder why there was never any sitcoms made about pharmacists and dating.
I guess it's the same thing with healthcare. Like, it is healthcare.
Well,
like,
no,
doctors and nurses and that.
doctors
like,
and nurses.
They
I think
always go out.
Oh, look at Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, that's true. You know,
Right.
Was it? No. What's that Australian thing that there used to be a? Was it Flying Doctors? No.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. I never watched it, but see, Grey's Anatomy had romance, but nobody has romance for
Yeah.
pharmacists.
Scrubs is another one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get worming stories.
Yeah, it's like, like, look, at the end of the day, it's no surprise really that people, start fancying each other. What I've noticed also within being in an office setting and stuff,
Yes.
sometimes there's people that you spend a lot of time with and then you end up fancying them, and like outside of it, you would never go out with that person. It's weird,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you get to either know them a bit more, or I guess that's the only person that you keep on seeing, so you get
I don't know. I've never experienced it myself.
you
but
never, well, other than Worm Guy.
worm guy.
I've never had anything like that. As I said, I've dated a boss before.
Oh.
Oh, I
Ooh.
know. Yeah, I have dated a boss before.
Yeah?
And that was interesting. And
How long was that romance?
because he was very close to my age. Like I
Right.
was like
So it
23
wasn't-
and he was like 25. It was and we were all like living it up in London and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And one thing led to another, and we were like, yeah.
Well, when I was
Doing
in my
stuff.
20s and then worked for pharmaceutical sales as a pharmaceutical sales rep, when it was time for conference, it was
It's when you go away. Yeah,
it was
business trips.
wild conferences.
Yeah, because Christmas parties, things happen.
Yeah, yeah,
Christmas
yeah.
parties, and not that nothing happened in my Christmas party because we were
Yeah,
like,
no, pharmacists don't. Again, we've only had like the majority of our female staff. There might have been the owner here and there, but there was So I never got to date at work.
Oh, wow, okay.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think it's a good thing.
But people, like you said, people do meet a lot of partners at work.
Exactly. And, you know, as I said,
you already share something in common, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got work, you can, you know, complain and bitch about work and stuff, or if things are going really, really well, you've got that commonality. So they will understand if you're having a bad day, because 9 times out of 10, because you're working in the same environment, they kind of may have heard about it, or they know why you're having a bad day. For example, if you're working in a store and you know, you had really bad customers and stuff, you can both relate to that. You know, it's like, oh God, Mr. So-and-so came in again asking for worm tablets. You know what I mean?
I always admired people who could actually work and then still live at home together. You're literally around that person.
Yeah. That's just too much, man.
24 hours a day, right?
See, again, this is what I mean about dating people at work. I used to run a pub back in London, again in my 20s. And I did it with a partner.
Yep.
And it was horrible, because like we would be working together running this pub, and then we'd hang out together on our days off. We'll go, and it's just like, and you're just leave me alone already. I'm thinking something. It's just,
but you can't even say that, can you? Like, leave me alone.
Yeah, sometimes I'll be like, I want to go and do something on my own. Oh, but it's like only day off together. I'm like, but we work together.
That's right. Yeah. So what would you actually do on your day off together?
Man, just lock myself in the room, man. And without him, it's just too. Yeah, it's just. It was too much. It's just too much. I mean, look, if you're in a different department, maybe, or in a different city, maybe, like, you know, it might be okay, but like, but for me, if you're, it's just, I just think it's too much.
How about
like,
that?
You know,
How about
especially if it's in the same either shop where you're working, or pub, or office, or whatever. If you're seeing each other every day and you're there in the same team and that, I think it's a bit But as I said, if you're in a different division, a different area in the shop, if you're working in the shops, or if they're based in another city or whatever, then I think it's all right.
In another city? How'd that work?
No, but you know how sometimes you have to go on like travel
work
trips, etc. Or you know, or some people working remotely, and you get to speak to people online and stuff. It's like, you know, again, there's no much difference to online dating sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, you just look at them and say, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, no, I'm just
because I'm still thinking about my
worms.
12. Mr. Worms.
Mr. Worms. Oh,
that was so funny,
man.
So funny, but it was just one of those things that it doesn't happen in retail pharmacy. In retail pharmacy, you always get some funny stories.
Yeah,
right?
I can imagine.
But so that a lot of the times, you know the person's medical history even before they ask you out, if that's the case, you know.
Yeah. Another thing that I always see is, I mean, I alluded to it earlier, like bosses, but namely they're like secretaries and things. Because again, they do spend a lot of time together.
Well, your secretary practically knows everything about you.
Exactly.
And that's why there's a lot of relationships, I guess, between doctors and nurses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're right, actually. You know, it is about that trust, because you're working together and, you see each other every day, and it's just easy. You know how we alluded to before, where how easy, well, not easy, but how different it was when you used to meet people outside, like in a bar and stuff, and you know, and you get
and it's
all
organic,
that. And it's organic. In theory, in a way, work is as well.
Yeah.
If you're meeting someone at work, it is organic. You're getting to know each other.
You're not even having to put your best foot forward.
Nah, sometimes you come in there, like, especially when you're doing it on Teams and that, you could look like a right mess. You know what I mean? I know I do.
Just woke up.
Oh my God, there was one time, I was working from home. This is a while ago. I was
during lockdown?
No, it wasn't during lockdown. Actually,
it was before.
When I say a while ago, I'd say a few months ago.
Oh, okay.
I was working from home, and I don't know why, but I decided to wear this bowler hat. So I was at home. Right, I had this bowler hat. My hair was all a bit like frazzled, right, and I was wearing this black and white striped shirt, so I looked like a mime. But I thought, you know, I'm at home.
You should have played on that.
Yeah, and I was just typing and so, and then my thing went off, and I didn't realise what I was wearing, and it was one of my bosses and that, and they were like, "What are you wearing? Why are you dressed like that?" And they thought it was funny, but I was just like, because I had no meeting scheduled that day, but they thought it was brilliant. They were like,
"That's hilarious."
You know,
looking quite nice today, actually.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Date me. No, you know.
You know how about the old saying, you don't poop. You don't
doing sound effects now.
You don't poop where you eat.
Yeah.
Does that apply? Have you ever seen any office romance go bad?
Look, as I said, me personally, I've never seen any office romances go bad. I think there's that initial awkward period at first. But again, look, if you're all adults, because at the end of the day, your job is the most important thing.
Yep.
Right? That's your bread and butter. That is, so I see where you're coming from, where you shouldn't on your place of work. But if you can be adult about it, because you should be adult about it, depending on where you're working as well. There is a professionality and a common conduct, etc. And you should abide by that, and you should always treat people with care. So look, relationships end all the time. You just got that added complexity of it being at work, and you just got to navigate through that and just do that with a lot of kindness and understanding, because it's and less impact to those around you, because those people around you, your team members or whatever, weren't in that relationship, so they shouldn't have to deal with that either.
Yep. And they shouldn't, exactly. And they shouldn't be dragged into
it. No.
That taking sides. Or...
Yeah. I know you wouldn't do it with Worm Guy, but you alluded to earlier, like if you were Worm Guy, would you have an office romance?
Office romance, I did for a while work in a drug company.
Oh, really?
No, in the office.
Okay.
But there was either people who were senior to me and they weren't my style.
What do you mean?
Oh, they were just office people. They were really...
I like office people.
Oh, no, like they were just... No, these were the conservative office people. So, when you buy a packet of medicine and inside there's a leaflet that contains all the information about the drugs and the side effects and all that stuff. So I worked in that department that wrote the consumer medicine information sheets. So you can imagine they're quite conservatives. And
dry. You're just saying boring, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
We're sorry to all your
this is
people that
about
work
25 years ago. So
I like how you dug yourself out that hole.
I was working there, and I'm very out there.
Yes.
Well, maybe not as out as you, like in terms of eclectic. But I used to have and I had an office, and I only lasted in that job for a bit over a year because the office was not my surrounding. I would go to lunch, have lunch, and then come back, and then I'd close the office door and do stomach crunches because I was in an office and I didn't walk around much. And then my manager walked in and he just didn't know which direction to look.
See, it's a bit like me in the bowler hat and looking at mine.
Yeah. So it was just too much. And the departments that I actually dealt with, they were really conservative, and that's just not me. So I've never worked in a place where it's exciting enough for somebody for me to connect with.
I think if you're going to do an office romance, I think sometimes
maybe a secret.
Yeah, it could be a secret, but I think the bigger the organisation is, I think the easier it is to, if it does go pear-shaped, because it's going to be hard you won't see each other that often. It's like massive. If it's a small environment, like, as I said, you're working in a shop or whatever, it's going to be tough.
You couldn't do it,
You can do it,
No, like
one person would have to leave, and it's like when I was working in the bars and stuff, and I had a thing with one of my with the boss, but it was so enclosed and stuff. It was just like but I moved to Canada anyway, so it was all right.
How about, have you ever worked in an environment where you thought something was happening between two different people, but nobody acknowledged it, and it just made it feel weird?
What do you mean? Like, well, that two people are doing it.
No, you don't know, but they act like they do. Do you know what I mean?
No.
Like
I'm like,
I worked.
Flirty dirty, like they're flirting with this.
They would disappear off for hours. So I worked somewhere where they're
blatantly doing it, aren't they? Like,
look,
what else are they doing?
They would say,
crocheting.
We're going to Office Works to get something. Do you need something? And so you just think, why do you need two people to go to Office Works?
Yeah, and it's always the same people.
And then they'll come back like 1.5 hours later or 2 hours later.
And Office Works was literally like 2 doors down. Like,
And so, I don't know, do you say something or you just go, dum-de-dum?
I think if it's impacting the work, like say that other person was getting favouritism from, whatever, from being either friends. They don't even have to be shagging, right? They could be like really good friends, but then you could notice that their work, they're getting preferential treatment, like you're putting your holidays in and they get their holidays booked in first and you don't. All that jazz. If you see all that, then I would say something. I would bring it up to HR.
Yeah.
And I would say, I suspect that blah, blah is together because they're always going off together and
it's affecting the work environment.
It's affecting the work environment and it's affecting morale because they're getting a lot of allowances, whereas other people aren't. And that's the thing about office romances. Some people do tend to make it a bit more personal, right? And especially when people do it if they're in a position of power.
Yeah.
And and that's bad, and therefore I would say definitely bring it up to your HR or to another manager and highlight it, because if it does go all tits up, it can
Literally, it
can blow up. At least now you can not nip it in the bud, but you can at least the powers that be could speak to them and say, listen, it's been brought to our attention that you guys are dating, etc. You can't, if you are dating, fair enough, we can't tell you not to or whatever. But please be mindful of how it is affecting other people, because like what I said earlier, they're not in that relationship with you.
Yeah, and they shouldn't be dragged into that drama.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all the office politics that I'm missing out on as a pharmacist.
Trust me, you're not missing out on much.
Star-crossed lovers.
So we've had a run through of all of our star signs now.
We've told everyone everything they need to know about their own star signs, who they should be shagging, all that jazz.
Yeah, so looking back on the couples that we've matched.
And just in general.
And in general. How do you think we went?
Look, you know how I feel about astrology. I think there is something that definitely there.
Yep.
Like when we're talking about, say, a Leo, for example, some of their personality traits, you're like, look at that. That explains a lot, right? Even the Sagittarius, when we were talking about Jason Momoa and stuff, we were like, oh, man,
you can see it. Yeah,
you can definitely see it. And then with us, when we were, because I'm so thankful for Naomi for humouring me in this, because I just wanted to know, like, just to do it, just like, right, nip this bud and stuff, and should we be taking stock in star signs? And I think yes.
Is the short answer.
It's a short. I think there is something there. I think it's worth exploring it a bit more. And for those that poo-poo star signs and stuff, I'm interested to know why they do poo-poo it. If they've never really taken stock in it, maybe they should. What's the harm? Yeah, if you think it's hocus pocus, right, then what's the harm, right?
Yeah, because I would actually want to challenge that. I wanted to challenge that and sort of like think and play a devil's advocate and think, there's a lot of people who says there's no scientific evidence in this, and who came up with these, and some of these are so generic that it can be applied to everyone.
But some of them aren't that generic though. Like when you delve into it deeper, right? Some of it really isn't that generic.
Yep.
Like when we're looking at the fire signs.
Yep.
Okay, you see how bold and brash they are and stuff. I mean, we've had some Leos here, and we're like, wow, okay, there you go. And I'm like, cha-ting. It's and then you've got Librans, right? And we're quite balanced. Yeah.
And we've
graceful,
and we've presented such balanced
views. Yeah, exactly, right. I think you can't say that about some other people.
Yes,
right. Also, some other star signs. So when you delve deep into it, it's not as generic as you think. I think that we did quite well with the whole. With the Scientology. What the hell are we talking about, Lou? With the astrology.
Yep.
And maybe we should look at other elements.
Other factors.
Other kind of things that people generally, look at. Like maybe not in the Western world, but you had a great idea, Naomi.
Yeah, so I was thinking, since we've already explored the Western astrology, is that we actually look at the Eastern lunar calendar animals. So there's 12 animals in that, and
another 12 episodes, sort of like.
So we're looking into that, and we're moving into Chinese New Year. So.
Exactly. See, so what better way or what better time to do it? And I'm interested in this because I know a little bit, but I'm not as clued up as I am about with the Western astrology. I know that I'm a horse.
Yes,
and I know what horses entail, and I'm quite typical of a horse as well. This is why I think there was something in there, people.
Yeah. Well, it's heading into the year of the dragon.
Ooh. Should we do the dragon first then?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, we do the dragon.
The dragon.
Yeah.
And we will explore what that all means.
Yeah, looking forward to it, Naomi.
Perfect match.
So this week we welcome George and Helen to the show.
Hello.
Hi guys.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Bella Vista Hotel. It's lovely to have you both here.
Thank you for having us.
So, George, what did you think of Helen when you met her? First impressions?
I think she's lovely. She's very nice. I think we connected.
Yes.
Straight away. Had lots to talk about.
Yeah.
Conversation with Helen was stimulating.
Oh, nice.
And Helen?
Yeah, similar. I didn't know what to expect, obviously, with this whole process. So,
Neither did I, because I was on a blind date that Naomi set me up a few weeks ago. So look,
here we go.
I feel for you.
Have you been on a blind date before, George?
No, this is a first. This is my
okay.
blind date debut.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, wow.
And as blind dates kind of go so far, has it been okay? Has it been quite, chilled and...
Yeah, I think so.
It was great. Yeah, absolutely.
Got commonality.
I see
Ooh, okay.
fizzy bubbles.
Yes.
Always helps.
So, Helen, you alluded to some commonalities. What did you find out about George that was...
Well, we are the same ethnicity.
Okay.
When you eventually got past understanding where my accent comes from. But, we both Greek heritage.
Yep.
So I think that's where the commonality is sort of coming in. Mm-hmm. And in the background, I think with the kind of work that we're involved in at the moment as well.
Oh, okay, that didn't come up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
And George, what about you? Any commonalities that you found?
Well, obviously, our heritage is probably the main one. Not only we both have Greek background, but we talk about the village in Greece.
Oh, do you?
And our village is only like 20 minutes apart.
No, really? What?
20-minute drive, that is.
Yeah.
But
Still close, When
When was the last time you were back in Greece?
In 2022 in July.
Oh, so
Nice.
you were only 20 minutes away and you still didn't...
in 2022, yeah. And I went last year as well.
Yeah.
Ah, nice. Okay.
And hopefully this year.
Oh, that's
Well, that's awesome. I mean, look, I did put you together because of different things. Yes, the Greek heritage thing popped up. I thought, what are the chances of that happening, Well, and Helen, you said that you like Mediterranean men, so I don't know.
Oh, that makes it a lot easier.
There you go. So I was like, okay, your wish is
Done.
granted, right? You also liked both beach holidays. You're at roughly the same age. Naomi loves to let me do this whole star sign thing. And George is an Aquarius. Is very kind of fun-loving, free-spirited, very laid back as well, right? And Helen, you're an Aries. You're very kind of get in there, a bit of a leader, bit lad. And it goes fire and air. It does go very well together.
Ooh,
okay. You have the right amount of balance where there's some differences, but enough to actually, maybe make something flourish, like start a fire. that won't possibly burn down the house in a dumpster fire. So there's that. And as I said, you both like beach holidays.
How do they go with the vegetable soup?
The vegetable soup one. Well, I think Helen said.
Was that a question on the question?
Yeah, it wasn't. That wasn't.
The question?
That was a question. George, surprise, said eggplant. But hey, moussaka.
Yes.
Exactly. That was
See?
what I was thinking.
Exactly.
It's
So get your
pronounced, moussaka.
moussaka.
That's
Yeah. See, so get your dirty mind out of that gutter when you said eggplant, all right? And Helen said she loves all veggies. So there you go. So I guess you can probably eggplant.
Yeah.
She did actually say
I'm sure I said that as well.
dun, dun, dun. Love is in the air. No. That's hilarious. See, there you go. So, you both don't have any dietary needs, which is awesome. The spirit animal thing.
What did I say? I can't
You said
remember.
elephant.
Oh, I did say it.
Elephant.
And what was George's?
George is a goat.
Why are you laughing? What's wrong with goats?
No, nothing.
I know goats love their food. They like to eat anything, don't they?
Yeah, and they love to climb. They're not scared of heights.
There you go.
They make their way to the top of the peak and just observe.
Helen, are you afraid of heights?
No.
Hey! There we go. And there's lots of other ones. I mean, George, you have older kids, right?
Older.
Yeah,
My
older.
babies.
Your babies.
Yeah,
But they're
babies.
still always going to be babies. Right?
My 24-year-old baby girl.
So George can, go out and be a bit more free-spirited. And you obviously, you don't. So I thought, hey, you guys can go off and, enjoy and climb up hills and mountains and...
And big goats.
And big goats.
Greatest of all time.
Yeah. We like that. And obviously, you're going to be off out again to enjoy the rest of your date. But so far, what do you think? Will you thumbs up? Or is it like...
How did we go?
Yeah. How did I go with your with my matchmaking capabilities so far? Even though it's only been 45 minutes. But hey...
I think you're on a good thing. I think you chose wisely.
I can't get over this eggplant thing. And Helen, what about yourself?
Yeah, good. It'll be good to continue it over lunch. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
definitely
nice.
have some beautiful. They got some lovely food here.
Yes, at the Bella Vista Hotel.
We bang about this all the time and stuff, So so please let us know how it all goes, because I'm very keen to buy a hat.
A hat.
A hat. We always say this in back home, obviously from the UK, to go to a wedding. No pressure. Okay, no pressure, but that's my thing. I just want to be able to buy a hat.
Okay, you'll be the first to know.
Yay!
So, Lou, that was another fantastic jam-packed Chock-a-Blockers episode.
It was, Naomi, and boy, do we have an episode for you next week. You'll be talking about how to best navigate through disagreements in Naomi's Wifey Lifey.
In Lou's dating diary, you're going to be discussing dating fatigue. Man, that's exhausting.
We asked the big question. Is the bro and sister code still a thing in question of the week?
And in our lunar calendar, we welcome the year of the wood dragon. What lies ahead for us all in star-crossed lovers?
And we welcome yet again another
Perfect match couple.
All that and more in next week's show.
Be good. See ya.